Alright, so who am I here with today?
You here with your boy 8th Degree, you know what I mean? Representing for New Direction, representing for the Hub, Arson Trauma Center, and every community organization throughout the city of Newark.
Yeah, so my first question for you is, what is it that gives you the power to make people put down the gun and put down the drugs everywhere you go?
Oh, man. I mean, when you put it like that, I guess I'll just say like the power of empathy, right? To be empathetic, you know, to show my humanistic abilities, right? Like to show people that I'm human too, and you know, it's possible. So I think that you know, just meeting people where they at and having a realistic conversation with them and just being able to make it make sense. I think that's my superpower, to be able to, you know, bring clarity to a chaotic situation.
That's very deep, and I feel like I admire you for that because you knew. My other question for you is, what was it? What was your breaking point that had you like, all right, this is it. I'm gonna make a change right here, right now. Like, what triggered your dream and your actions that you're doing right now?
I think if I had to look back to any one specific event, I would say when my brother was murdered, and I had to sit down. I told my daughter that, you know, he passed away, and you know, somebody killed him. And then her response to me at 8 years old was that we're gonna shoot them back, right? So I realized in that moment that I wasn't raising, you know, my daughter, but I was raising a gangbanger. I was teaching her about retaliation, and in so many senses, you know, when she, you know, questioned me, you know, she wasn't wrong, because that's how I was teaching her. Yo, if somebody hit you, you hit them back. If somebody I was teaching her how to retaliate. I wasn't teaching her, you know, how to be a human, so to speak. I wasn't teaching her how to be a young lady or anything outside of gang culture, because that's all I knew at the time.
All you knew at the time.
Word.
I feel like, how many kids you got?
I got 5. I got 4 kids and I got 1 stepdaughter.
Is it tough in any way? Like, was it tough to? I knew it might have been easy to drive the first one out of the gang stuff.
Word.
But was it tough to drive your other kids out of that too? Like, or were they already like peaceful? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to speak, not really tough, but understanding. I didn't understand what I was doing. Right. That was my first kid. I'm just showing her what I believe is right. And growing up in the inner city, like such as Newark, New Jersey, or any other rough environment, you know, for any parent, you want your kid to be able to defend themselves. You don't want your kid to be out there being taken advantage of, somebody hurting them. And so, you know, I was never really teaching her how to be, you know, herself, so to speak. I was teaching her how to be
the person
defensive. I was teaching her how to survive, and that really wasn't conducive, right? It backfired, so to speak. So to answer the question, no, it wasn't tough. With the rest of my kids, because by the time then, you know, I had a little bit more knowledge of self, so it was easier for me to navigate.
The next question is, dang, I had the question right there in my head. What was my question? Dang. No, okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's say your kid was something like me. Me personally, I don't feel like I want to use violence, even if they hit me.
Word.
See, at a certain point in my life, still at this certain point in my life, back in my 8th grade year, and I just graduated 8th grade, I had people who were doing gang stuff, listening to nothing but drill music, and they used to beat on me, and they used to treat me like I was some type of scum or some type of loser, and they used to. I basically didn't stand it, and they beat me up and took advantage of me for that. And they took me as some type of guy who didn't fight back, because I never fought back.
That's right.
What would you do if your kid was in that position? Like, what would you do?
Well, first and foremost, man, you know, we don't lead with violence, but the same thing I tell my kid is that you have the human right to defend yourself at all times, right? Somebody say something to you, you know what I mean? Like they got a saying, right? Sticks and stones hurt no.
The words will never hurt you.
Words will never hurt you, and that's untrue, because you know words do hurt. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to protect ourselves in all rounds. right?
Yeah.
And you do have to stand up to people, even if you don't want to, right? You still have to find ways to be able to stand up to them, right? Because you gotta X out all the voices that's in your head, getting in trouble, teachers, principals, parents, whatever the situation may be, right? You always have to stand up for yourself, because when you don't, you give people permission how to treat you, right? And so when you go through things like that, because that's a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's very traumatic, because now every time you enter a space like that, you don't feel safe, right? And you have to be able to, in order for you to be your full self, your full authentic self, you have to be safe. You have to, your mind have to know that your body is safe, right? And you have to be able to defend yourself, because you're going to dial yourself down, right? And you're going to put yourself inside of a shell. You're not going to want to be seen. You got amazing things to be offered to the world. You know what I'm saying? And you can't let anybody put that inside of a bottle. So my thing is, I'm always going to tell you to defend yourself. Don't worry about who's right and who's wrong. Somebody into your physical space, you have to defend yourself, because you can't put nothing past it. Like, thankfully they didn't, but what if, they would have went too far and really hurt you?
Yeah, one of them actually choked me unconscious one time. Put me in a headlock, I went unconscious, I blacked out,
Right.
got up. Teacher was right there, she said I was overreacting.
Yeah.
All because I dropped the dude's Pop-Tart. He was doing too much. And he was
That's right.
claiming he was playing with me. And I actually blacked out. It was crazy.
That's right. But my thing is, and like I'll tell you, like I tell my child, like, it's not about what happened to you, right? Because whatever happened, it happened in that moment.
Yeah.
But it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like your life, that's not your life story, right? So you have to take those traumatic experiences and let that build you into something greater, and not to come back and physically hurt them, but your success is gonna hurt them. How they seeing you as less than.
Yeah.
Every day you get up and you shine and bright, and they're gonna see you, and that's going to trigger something in them. But that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. You ain't do nothing wrong. You was a kid.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that, well, this isn't actually going to keep it. Do you think that pain drives success in a way? Like, say, are you the type of person that, like, every bad situation and see it as, are you the type of person to see every bad situation as an opportunity to get better and be successful?
Absolutely.
Every situation.
Absolutely. I see every situation. I believe the trick to it is finding balance, right? Not getting too high on your wins and not letting your lows bring you too low. Just always looking at the better, right? Like, okay, even when you do win, yeah, you won, you celebrate, but I don't believe in showboating. Right, like you can celebrate your victory, but I don't believe in showboating. And even in your victory, right, it's still something that you could have done better.
Yeah.
It's still something that you could have improved on, right? And same thing with your L's, right? Okay, what did I learn from this? How could I have won, right? Or how could I have played it different? Or maybe it wasn't even. Maybe that game wasn't even winnable for me, right? But still, what did I gain from that? Right? Like, so I believe every moment is a teachable moment. And the moment that you walk through life and thinking that, oh, it's me, because I'm the world's greatest and I did this, that, and the third, and it's like, you surely gonna fall. And when you fall, it's gonna hurt. Because when you had those, losses, you didn't learn from them. You complained about it. So I absolutely believe, everything is two ways, right? Pain can either drive success, or you can sit in your misery, right? Because they got a story. It's a story of the dog, right, laying on the porch, and every day the dog will moan and groan.
Let
me finish the story, because it's a good story. You need the story, right? So every day the dog will moan and groan, right? And then so, the guy on the porch, asked the dog, like, why is he moaning and groaning? Long story short, and he complained, right? Oh, this nail, right, is bothering me. And so, like the solution was simple. Like, okay, if the nail underneath the porch is poking you, why don't you get up and move? Because some people like to sit inside of complaint.
if you sit in your laws for too long, you're gonna end up getting dreaded into it, and there's always a way out of it.
I mean, if you're going to, why complain about it if you're not going to do something about it? Get up and get off the fucking nap. Change your situation. Don't complain about the hood. Change the hood.
That's what I see. That's what